2, 3, testing. Testing, 2, 3. Ah, there we go. Hello and welcome everybody. I've been fantastic, thank you, and welcome to chat as well. It is time for the finale. It's the grand week. It's gonna be all out Monza action for the eSeniors here. It is time to wrap everything up, put a bag and a tie bow around it. It's gonna be a Monza and it's gonna be some great racing action. We're kicking things off here tonight with the GT4s actually, for a change. I hope you had a fantastic time last time around when we were watching the Group 1 race with Juan substituting me here on the side. So now today, on this very Wednesday, it's time for me to return your host, your one and only Nicholas Kraus. How is everybody doing in the chat? Hearing you a little bit earlier this week. I think that's absolutely fantastic for a change. And by the looks of it, we've got ourselves a very interesting race here tonight at hand, because while the championship is already settled with Derek Bird and his Porsche winning it, we are still very much in the fight for position 3, for the podium here all around. We're seeing up at the front Paunov, as well as Pollitt and Bywater, still all in heavy competition to secure the final spots here on the podium. Yorton Texas Racing, Nicholas, love your commentary, thank you so much. And Nico's in the chat as well. Everybody coming in here together, finding their way around and onto this lovely site where we'll be looking at the track here for once. Let's get started with that. So Monza for this whole week will be the affair that we'll be watching all around. It's got not too many corners. If you've been driving there, you know it's got 7 right hand, 3 left hand turns with 2 chicanes, one of them being extended and one being the offset parabolica. So in an essence, we have on the GT4s lots of slipstream action here, I would imagine, and in comparison to the GT3s, we can definitely use a lot of the curbing here. So that'll promise for some good action. Who finds the limit and who will step over it in the end? That is what we're about to find out here in this finale round. Let's head on over and look at the championship table together here, shall we? Here we go then. So leading the championship and definitely already having won it already, that is Derek Bird for you. He's got it. He brought it home. Look at that. How many wins and podium finishes is that? Absolutely fantastic stuff there from Derek Bird. And I already mentioned it here. Up at the front, it's still very much contested. Who can find the straight line speed? Is it going to be the Alpine? I would doubt so, but maybe Pollitt got something up his sleeve that I don't know about. And look at that finish. Chris Vaughan here also scoring 2 podiums. He could still jump very much into the top 10 here tonight if he finds that sort of pace, sort of rhythm that he's looking for. Starters from Canada too. Great performance in the last couple of races. And Yorton Texas Racing driver from the US here with 73 points. Also still very much an opportunity to go close to the top 10 here and finish off this season in style. Now, who else are we about to watch tonight? I would say definitely Aston Martin, AMG, and of course the BMW. Those have such great straight line speed. It's absolutely fantastic. As long as it doesn't rain, these cars are my top favorites around Monza because they are just so capable of pulling away in the straight line. It's absolutely fantastic. So with that out of the way, let's head on over back to our holding area together and talk a little bit about the weather that we're seeing here throughout this week. We've had mostly great conditions and think this trend will continue for the rest of this week, for the final week here in the championship, because overall Krista is not racing today. Oh, that is unfortunate. How comes? I hope you're doing all right. Would have been great to see you tend to the final here together with us as well. but I'm sure you've got your priorities right there. Had a tooth pulled. Oh, right. Yeah, probably with a bit of medication that doesn't mix too well with driving. So take it easy. You still got a couple of races this week you want to attend there, and I'm sure that we're also going to be seeing you next season come out even stronger than before, trying to compete for those top positions. So Nico's got a question in the chat. We're going to need pit stop for 1 hour race with the GT3. Well, technically the cars should be able to do that, but the question is, are you with mandatory pit stop? That would mean you definitely would have to come in, and if you do have to come in for tires, it's always smartest to refuel at the same time if you can. That means you can carry less fuel for the majority of the run, but overall it does come down to the settings, and I'm sure we're going to find out for the rest of the week what sort of settings we're seeing here. Are we ready for Sunday? Yeah, you'll be ready for Sunday, and I'm sure you'll show us what's up out on track here. You can get a little sneak peek of what's happening around, watching some of the other groups of drivers, as well as the GT4s here tonight that we'll be taking a hold of. So on Sunday, I would advise, if you can, go the whole hour without a stop, but if there is a pit stop with tires, then do make sure that you also rear fuel if you can, because that'll allow you to carry a bit less fuel and overall therefore increase your performance a little bit, because you can always refuel while you're changing the tires anyhow. So that kind of goes very well together. So just 1 more minute here before we're heading out. Straight line speed, probably everybody's got their gas nailed down to the floor, the pedal there, because tonight at Monza we only have a couple of turns really, and after that it's just full out, flat out, and the cars are now heading on over to the trackside. So I'll be preparing this for you so we can have a smooth ride on with the first cars coming out. And by the looks of it, tonight will be the first night where I'm seeing Michael Banchaya, one of the organizers from Canada here, drive on track for the first time. So that is quite lovely. I've been always seeing them out and around in the pit lane or at the back, not quite attending the races themselves. But tonight, that is a very welcome change. So I'm excited to see what he's got up his sleeve. Let's bring it on over then for you. Here we go, there he is, Michael Banchaya, center of screen in that BMW. Let's also have a quick look in terms of the championship where we can find him there. Banchaya. For me it said that he was riding the Aston Martin, scored 1 point last time around and got 24 double digits in the race at Spa. So he must be very happy about that. Not sure how similar the track is compared to Spa, but he'll be one of the first cars to actually come across the line here once they're coming around. And leading this whole pack is Kai Schäfer. Very awesome, a fellow German. I haven't seen him in the Group 1. And we're gonna use this opportunity to jump right on board to the cockpit and have a look together on this first flying lap here of the week. This is the first time we're taking a look together here at Monza. Now onto the start finish straight and up the gears here as well. 6 gears. Some of the cars do have a 7th gear. Don't think it's actually going to be in use here unless you're in some heavy slipstream. Looking at the left hand side, 150 board, and then heavy on the brakes as we're slowing down the car as much as we can. 2nd gear, just barely making it stop in time. You can use some of the curving there as we're now accelerating under the first chicane. And back on the throttle it is, mentally preparing as we're going around the Curva Grande here and into the 2nd chicane. because here it's very important not to outbrake yourself. You want to get a good exit here, because running the run to the Lesmos isn't as short as you might think. Third gear on the entry, getting it just turned around barely then, and onto the power once again. Upshifts coming in right on time now. Back on the brakes just slightly. Want to get that neatly tucked in, hold it to the right hand side before accelerating wide, and a little bit of curb used. 50-meter board already. Back to the next braking zone and straightening up before we are back on the power here and up our way onto the Ascari. That's a very dangerous corner for you, especially if you don't get the line quite right. On the right hand side, just after the bridge, onto the brakes. He's going to be very late on the brakes. He is sending it in third gear. He's doing it perfectly. Kai there with a good amount of exit speed. He's going to set a very good lap here, I have the feeling. Now fifth gear, 6, and right now it's just one corner separating us from this full lap completion. About maybe a 1:55, maybe 2 minutes is what we're looking here. Trying to tuck it nice and into the right hand side. Keep it tidy there, and on the power as early as you can. Managing to do so very nicely. Coming across the line, Kai Schäfer now. That is exactly 2 minutes on the dot. And that's about a 10th quicker than Michel Benchai, who rose in second place. He's just barely beaten by Shane Pollard then. He is doing very well in the championship. He's in third overall and wants to keep on going with that. Daniel Britos from Argentina coming across the line. He's about 2 seconds off. Next car, Malcolm Hodgson in the Exile Loons coming across the line. That is going to be the new fastest lap of the session. Wow. There you go. Actually gonna quickly move this a little bit higher, and that's another fastest lap. That's Terry Trowbridge from England and Kenneth Lingle coming in second place. Is that? Wow, Eric Dunt and Status. Everybody is going quicker by the looks of it. Dimitri Status now with the fastest lap. It's a Canadian driver in the Aston that outclasses the Camaro here. Wonderfully done. So the 59. I was thinking we weren't going to see a sub 2 minute in these conditions. I was absolutely wrong. Let's have a look at Peter Miles in the Wahoo Porsche here. What he can do. He's coming across the line. It won't be a fantastic lap. It's only enough for P13. I'm sure he's going to find a little bit more time here. Now this number 88 belonging to Jeremiah Robas. I've talked to him almost every week now, trying to get these races casted for you, and he goes 9th quickest for what is my debut watching him. Wonderfully done. A good step forwards for him on his way to the top 10. Kai Schäfer's got 2 10s. That would be enough potentially to go to the top 5 here, and it absolutely, oh, so close as he's being pushed down once more. I was about to say it absolutely is, but he didn't quite get the perfect run out of the Parabolica. That might have slowed him down a bit too much. Daniel Britos then going 9th quick is a good improvement for the Porsche driver here, and we're seeing Benchaya now up at the front. It's a 59.2, that's your provisional pole at the moment. So big step forward. Terry, that is not quite the racing line there. He was pushing so much he barely lost control. He definitely has to keep on going though. Eric Langlois coming across the line. No improvement this time. And lots of these drivers. Only 50 minutes qualifying with a 60-minute race. A little bit of a change here tonight. Mike Mesquier not able to improve. Must have been an invalidated lap here somewhere around. It's Neil Bywater now heading out. Sauvage going 10th quickest. Wonderful stuff there in the field 22 push. And a couple of cars here coming up to some good improvement. Peter Miles once again in the spotlight. He's found another 410s here. That would be enough to jump Manuel Sosa. Let's see what he can do. Coming across the line, that is actually enough P15 then. So we're seeing a couple of cars still looking to improve. And quite far down the road, we're seeing Kai Schäfer once again. Shepherd's Prayer 314 driver. He's got 7 tenths. That might be enough, potentially, to jump to the front of the grid here. As long as the lap is valid, this would be absolutely fantastic for the Aston driver coming across the line. And by the looks of it, yes, 59.0. What a lap then from Schäfer. Wow, wow, wow. That's a big step forward, that is. Malcolm Hutchin now, set off screen for you. He's coming towards the end of his lap. He's found 2 tenths. Might be enough to just slip into that top 10. Look how close they are. Pollard, Trowbridge, Spawn, all within just a couple of hundreds from each other. I think this might be the 4th driver squeezing into this pack, coming across the line. Hutchin goes 9th quickest, just 100th in front of Trowbridge then. How close is that? Following Eric Dond here from Belgium. He's just a little bit ahead of that 4-way fight here. Bird now, he barely missed it, a 58.0. He shoots them out of the park then with his Porsche. I mean, there is no wonder why he was so strong all around through the season. He's won so many races, podium finishes, and looks like Monza isn't his weak spot either. Down now across the line, P4 for him. Just ahead of Startis, who will be biting the wheel because he only has about 3 more laps to get the job done then. It's going to be very difficult to continue improving at the rate that he did. So Don now up in 4th. Coming into the final turn of the track here. That's John Wilson, the Hot Pursuit Racing Camaro. Now coming across the line, he's found 6 tenths. That's P13. A wonderful step forward then. Just shy of the time of Sauvage. But by the looks of it, he's going to park it for now and come back onto the track with a fresh set of slicks. Now this is Chris Bond in the Leggett Esports. It's very sportsy livery. Would you look at that? It's very slick, I have to say that. The 119 now into the heavy braking zone. He's found plentiful of time. Chris Bond, if you're having a look at the championship itself, he's doing very well with the recent performances. I mean, he got, I think, 4 podiums in every race that he's finished, and he goes quickest then! Wow! By 3,000ths of a second, he beats Derek Bird to the line. He got him 2nd in Silverstone, and he wants to continue that forward trend. The AMG is a wonderful car for this track, and Chris Bond is making the most of it. What a lap then! Wow, as he's just cleared the first chicane. That's something. Right, Nikos, let me have a quick look. 108 liters according to your results companion. I think a pit stop halfway through, if you are struggling with the tire wear, that can definitely make sense. But overall, I personally don't really like it myself. If I can go the full hour, I'll just stay out there and make sure to bring my best performance on track. No stops allowed. Just running all the way through. So Kai Schäfer currently is in P3. It's about 9 tenths away, looking to close that gap a little bit. He's currently got 3 tenths in his little bag and his front Porsche. Make that 2 as he's now coming onto the Parabolica. And Chris Bond keeps on finding time. Fantastic stuff there. He's got another 4 tenths. How about that? So big steps forward there. Eric Dont could also set a new fastest lap. Kai Schäfer now is going to go to a 58.8. That cuts down the gap, but isn't quite enough. Chris Bond, however, he could step away just a little bit. He didn't hit that last corner perfectly, but he's still got a very good lap on his hands. He breaks into the 57s then. Now, how about that? The British driver in the 119 showing Bird how it's done? Question mark? I mean, with the way that he's pulling over, I don't think he's going to have another attempt. Very interesting to see if that's going to be qualifying. And I've also been speaking about the BMW. It's been Shire, 1.2 seconds off the pace. And we're seeing here the MFM BMW of Mike Mileski. The Canadian driver could very much gain 5, 6, 7 positions here. Coming across the line from 16th, he then goes 12th quickest. It's a good step forward, but just shy of that mid-pack right around Mark Pocock, Trowbridge, Hutchin, and Savage. So he slots in right in the middle there. Nice improvement. Eric Dont just came across the line, found the 59. That is just a couple of tenths quicker than Benshire, and if he is pulling over here, that means qualifying will be over. We have almost a second in the bag. Peter Miles is once again center of screen for you. The number 65 driver here in the Porsche coming across the line. Is it valid? Is it good? Yep. Oh, that is really unfortunate. Didn't quite see when the cut happened, but the lap is invalid. That means qualifying will be over, and Derek Bird only has one more shot here as well. He'll be coming across the line in just a hot moment to start his final qualifying attempt in the hopes of making P1 here. Otherwise, he'll have to settle for the second spot on the front row here tonight. Dave and chat as well. Wonderful that you could make it. And Chris has not fully recovered from his broken knee. Oh, really? Yeah, I see you. I see you. We'll find out how he's doing tonight. It's a very physical car, the GT4. We see how Derek is wrestling it around the first couple of turns here. So I'm interested to see if that plays any role when it comes to these longer races, especially with an injury that could come into play. Neil Bywater not with a valid lap yet. Let's see, on his final attempt of qualifying, he's gonna go 9th quickest then. Neil was saving it up. And it took him exactly 15 minutes and no second too short that qualifying. Otherwise, he would have started dead last. But he finds himself neatly tucked in at P9 now. So nice step forward. Jeremy Arobas is currently 17th in that FEY. That Canadian Porsche here. He only needs to find 2 tenths to gain 1 or 2 positions on John Wilson or Daniel Britos here, and that might be enough as long as he can spot the breaking point just right. That should be it, and he's gonna jump a couple of people here. I feel like Jeremy Arobas now across the line from 17th. The number 88 goes up into P12 then and matches Terry Trowbridge's time to the millisecond. How about that? Wow. Wow. Wonderful stuff then. With a last minute effort there as well. It took him his sweet time to get the lap in. But if that is the result, then I'm sure we all would want to wait here. Because that was absolutely fantastic. Now I'm getting everything ready for you. Just on this holding screen. What a qualifying then. Lots of changes here in terms of the positions. And I'm very excited to see we've got it going for ourselves here. I'm just quickly getting everything ready for you. So such a close qualifying at the front, just hundreds, and then there's a super strong and equally matched mid-pack. That's going to be very exciting during the race. And I feel like we have not reached the peak of everything yet. Because as far as I'm concerned, these GT4s, they offer some fantastic racing here. Let's go down the grid together and have a look who qualified where. Up and at the front here, it is Chris Bourne. Getting that pole position in his AMG. And putting Derek Bird here, that's your championship winner of the GT4s, onto the side. He's still on the front row, but he's doing it in style. Then in third place, it is Schaefer next to Dont. Front engine Camaro doing very well here tonight, I imagine. Ben Shire, fantastic qualifying there. Next to starters in the number 12, Aston Martin. Then it's Lingholm. We didn't see much of yet, and I'm sure we will in the race. Then it's Pollitt in the only Alpine out there. It's Bywater next to Pocock. Then Trowbridge, Aroba, Hutchin. It's Molesky in 14th. Sauvage P15. Then Wilson, Britos, Langlois. It's Sousa in P19. And Miles wrapping up the top 20 ahead of Buckley. Well then, we got 1 hour of racing going on, and just a hot moment. We're gonna jump to the front of the pack and wait for the green light. There we go. Lining up double file here. Let's see what kind of start we are seeing here. Up at the front, very good start then for the BMW of Ben Shai. He's gaining on the Aston Martin quite immediately, I have to say, getting that position done. Very good run as well from Bourne, who's ahead of Derek Bird. But if you want to look at the BMW, he's already gained 2 places then as everything stuffs up a little bit. So far so clean. There's a bit of contact. Oh, he's spun it. Oh, he's been spun around. Tragedy then for Ben Shai. He had a fantastic run. We're seeing a little bit of a run of action here in the background. In the middle, it's side by side next to Shane Pollitt as well as Terry Trowbridge here in this fight. Alpine against Aston. Now a bit further down the grid, this is Michael Ben Shai. He didn't have the greatest of starts after making contact with Kay Schaefer, I think, who's also well back here as everything once again bunches up for the second chicane. This time a little bit more clean. And he'll be very happy to hear that, because Ben Shire was well up at the front in T1, but didn't quite make it around the turn then. Very close here between Peter Miles and his fellow Porsche, that is Sauvage, who was 14th just a moment ago, and it's super close here. So many Porsches in the second half of this grid here. Wahoo, as well as the fight here in the background, Jeremy Orobas against Neil Bywater. Neil Bywater then to the inside he goes. Wonderfully done as he jumps the curb quite massively there. Much space left. Very gentlemanlike driving by the both of them, and that's the move done. That's him moving up, and Ben Shire is now, you saw it there for a split second, he is on the outside, getting the Aston clear then. He's ahead of Schaefer, and wow, what a late break there! He sent it to the inside, goes past Mike Molesky. The Canadian had to open up the steering, because that would have otherwise been a collision. Let's go back 30 seconds and go on board here into the cockpit and have a look at that straight line overlap. To the outside he goes, and he's got to get that BMW as well. And just a hot second, what a move then, and how late he is on the brakes, completely demolishing his opponent and making it perfectly to the apex. What a beautiful move there. What a move there from Michael Bianchaya, getting 2 places in just one corner. So he is absolutely trying to make the most of this race after the race start, and that seems to have been potentially a collision with Sauvage and Miles here, as they have dropped back a little bit. So Eric Langlois is now ahead in this 462 Alpine. Seemed to struggle a little bit during the race, and there's a bit of a spin in the background. That must be John Wilson making contact. Then he hot pursuit. Let's go back 30 seconds once again to the replay and have a look together. So far so good here, and to the cockpit we go. Third second, everybody's just kind of parking it there, and there's a big contact from behind. That is Manuel Sosa dropping it to the to the outside as they're trying to figure out who goes first here. Bit of an unfortunate incident. But that is racing for you, so didn't quite get the car stopped in time, and that was contact being made. So Manuel joining us here from Portugal, dropping back here to dead last. He'll have a lot of time on his hands to refocus and regain the position. So you're seeing it here, no mandatory pit stops. That means potentially we're going to see drivers right on through until the end. But that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of action here. Chat also very active. Thank you guys for joining us here and watching this exciting action. It's high 20s without an air conditioning. Yeah, it's been blazing the past couple of days. Here in Germany it's kind of fine. It isn't too hot. But the English temperatures, they're usually a little bit lower anyhow. Oh, that's a side-by-side now, isn't it? Oh, let's have a look. Michael Benchaya trying it around the outside. On the curve of Grana, he's got a nice little overlap on Mark Pocock here. This could be the move. He goes onto the grass and now late on the brakes. That seems to be Michael's specialty. He completely cast the corner there. He absolutely did not take that, risking the warning and then some. What was that? He gained 2 places there, but that's not really the way I expected him to do it. He just completely cut the course, ignored the corner in a sense. So Mark Pocock found himself spun around. Oh, let's go back 30 seconds, have a look what happened here. He was already on the grass. Maybe he was struggling a little bit with the car. He saw how aggressive that move was by Benchaya, and now he's super close, right on behind that fellow Porsche driver. Now slight braking into the first Lesmo here. And that looks like it's all fine and dandy until the traction control, the car snaps on him. On the outside, puts it into the wall. And there's hardly any way you can recover from that. He's gonna have to go back to the pit lane. And he's got John Wilson right on behind him. Let's see if this goes right on around. So the TRG Racing, number 13 from Britain, forced to go back to the pit lane much earlier than desired. Oh, rough start there. Now let's take it to the front of the pack and make a run down. Leggett Esports, he's got the pole. He's got a 3-second gap on Derek Bird already. He seems to be doing a fantastic job here. Seems to be just the right track for Chris Bourne here tonight in his 119. Now second position going to Derek Bird. The Englishman in the DBK Porsche is set to, has set his eyes on a target. He wants that win to wrap up his season. He's already got the championship under his belt, but that doesn't mean he won't push here tonight. Third spot of the podium right now is in the hands of Eric Dont. He didn't get a fantastic start, but considering that both the Aston driver of Schaefer as well as the BMW of Benchaya made a collision in the first turn, he's inherited those places and is very happy to find himself in third with a little bit of a gap up front and behind. Kenneth Lingon, that's your P4, also an AMG here. Looking mighty fine in that Lingon Racing 96. Last lap for him is a 59.6. That means he's just dead on with the pace at the front of the pack. Dimitri Starters, that's your Canadian driver. Number 12 here in this Aston Martin, looking to set a potentially fastest personal lap. Looks like he's just as quick as he is in qualifying. Wonderful stuff then. So he's definitely gaining. This could be the next battle to watch. Terry Probridge, he's about 3 seconds behind that. And he's got a very angry looking Alpine right on behind him. Shane Pollitt, that's the driver from the UK, just in his toe then. Look how late he is on the brakes there. Just barely making it work in time. And we have to check in Neil Bywater. He is side by side with Sauvage. They're back and forth, the French against English drivers, both on the same make of car, both in that Porsche GT4. He does it around the inside, gets the door closed, and he is going to have to share a little bit of slipstream here. This could get very interesting, because they are definitely very close here. And Kenneth from Denmark, he's a Group 3 driver. Oh, Well, Kenneth Delaney's in P4. He was thinking about it. You can see us there. The Phil 22 team driver here, Savage, I'm assuming. I can only assume his first name, but Savage then. That got very close. You could see how he was looking and thinking about it. Decided otherwise. Wonderful stuff then. So we talked about him briefly, Kenneth Linghorn, and that is the red and silver AMG just ahead of Dimitri Status. Let's jump on board here actually and have a look together, because he's very much being chased here. This is one of the closest fights on the track. Doesn't quite go to the slipstream. He just wants his clean air on the straight. I'm not sure what Dimitri's long haul plan there is, but he's probably got it all figured out. Into third, actually keeping fourth through there, maintaining lots of speed, and this could be a great run here. He's got it very beautifully set up. He's done the slow in and fast out, and that is exactly what he needs to start closing this gap onto the 96 AMG just ahead of him. Mind you, this is the fight for P4 as well, so this Group 1 against Group 3 fight of the classes. And by the looks of it, Kenneth is holding his own. He's doing very well here, and he'll probably keep on battling if the pace stays as it is. 59.9 against the 2 minutes 0.4. I'm just a bit curious how comes that Dimitri isn't quite using all the slipstream. I know it isn't too fantastic in the GT4s. They don't really benefit too much from the reduced air resistance that comes through slipstream, because the car is quite high anyway, quite elevated. But regardless of that, it's yeah, it's a bit interesting. We're gonna find out how this pans out for him. They're gonna stay about a second apart for now, and we'll check back in with this in just a moment. Well then, just up behind him and with a bit of an excursion, Terry Trowbridge forces Aston Martin through the second chicane. Then we've seen that alternative route from Benshire before. Seems to work quite well. Maybe this could be a tendency we're going to see more of, and he's being closely followed by Shane Pollitt. Maybe we can get some information in which group he usually drives in. The Woodstack 66 looking super promising here too. He's very much on his tail. 2 tenths just now, and by my word, mark my word, he is gonna go for it. He has the brake potential. He seems to get very close in those braking zones as long as he gets a good run, and I think he does here. He's gonna stay super tight in the slipstream here and try to force a mistake out of Terry. Now heavy on the bankers. So they're heading into the Parabolica for the 6th time here tonight. Well, technically the 7th, because there was one instance where they went around in the warm-up lap. But hold that thought. Peter Miles and Daniel Britos here. That looks like a mistake. He's got to go very wide there. Peter Miles misjudging the braking point there. That's going to cost him 2 positions right on the spot. Quite unfortunate then. It drops back to P16, and Terry Trowbridge, I think he's lost that place. Let's go back 30 seconds. I was afraid of missing it, and not without reason it seems. Here he goes. We're on board here with the Alpine. To the inside he goes, then on the brakes, and look how deep that is. That is way too light. The Essen cannot make it in time. Locks up the fronts completely, and that means Terry Trowbridge here will be falling back to 7th place. Then Shane Pollitt, however, gets that P6 for himself. He's been waiting patiently, setting it up and forcing the mistake out of Terry into turn 1. So well done, well executed move, just what he was looking for. Fight now for P17 coming up. John Wilson, he was further up at the front and lost lots of places in the early laps. Now he's got to find his way past Eric Langlois here. He's got a very damaged Alpine. Look at that front, that's definitely hurt. Now he's setting his eyes on that overtake. Let's see if he can get it done just before Ascari. Looks like he's getting a good run. That straight line speed from the Alpine will be severely hindered with the way that front hood is popped up. Entirely not sure what happened. I think we missed the contact or collision that he must have had. Now the hot pursuit racing. 906 very much on the pursuit here. Pursuit of P17 and pursuit of bringing that Alpine down one spot. Eric against John. John then to the inside. Let's see if he can hold it there. And he's already side by side now on the brakes. Just barely making the heavy Camaro stop in time. That, ooh, what happened there? That looked like a little bit of a disconnection. They're getting super close here on the exit. He couldn't quite get the power down. They're still side by side. Hardly any car fitting in between them. That got really close there. Let's see if there's another retaliation move now into T1. On the brakes they're gonna be, and look how that front dips down. So much weight in that Camaro at the front that he's got to carry around. Wonderfully done. That's the move executed. He moves up into P17, but things got very hot there for a hot moment. So where were we? I think we already covered P6 and 7 in the fight. Now P8 would be the next in line. There's Malcolm Hutchin. Wonderful stuff there. The Exile Loons started originally, mind you, in P13. He's already gained 5 places in the session. So very nice progression here for the 217 Porsche. Michel Benchayo, that's the BMW. He's found some alternative racing lines, if I may say that. So, being well up at the front end, a fantastic run into T1. He couldn't get the most of it, was spun around, and is now fighting back to make the most out of this race in this absolutely fully green BMW. It's the number 1 BMW, currently in 9th position. Keep on going, Michael. Let's see where I can put this. Kai Schäfer, he was also involved in that early incident. Shepard's prayer driver 314 from Germany here. He was hoping to put it back on the podium, and mind you, this Kai Schäfer lad, he's actually quite interested in bringing home some more points. Last time around, he didn't attend, but he does already have a podium under his belt in Suzuka, and he's looking to make that too. Not sure if he has the time necessary in the remaining 43 minutes here, but it is certainly a story we're going to continue following. That's your top 10. Moving on, Mike Maleski. It's the MFM team eSeniors driver with the starting number 64. That's P11. Then 12th is Neil Bywater, the Englishman, last lap with a 2:02. And this goalie little Porsche. Holding this thought, let's look at the 5-4 here. Things are spicing up once again. Dimitri Starter is going on board here. Here and there. He doesn't want to be all that close. Actually lifting on the entry there a little bit. Trying to give a bit of room, but this does open up the gap. It was 3.5 tenths. It's probably going to be right around 6 or 7 now when they're coming across the next time measurement point on the track. You see the gap extending there once again a little bit. So he's just maintaining that, waiting patiently for his opportunity. And I'm sure it will come, and we'll be there to watch you when you do it, Dimitri. Keep on going. Well then, Neil Bywater we already covered. Daniel Britos, the Argentinian, is leader of this little train of his. That's 3 Porsches in a row. That's Britos ahead of Savage and Jeremy Arobas. Jeremy getting things done here during this second 10 minutes of this race here. Originally he started P12, ups and downs. I'm sure he'll keep on going, keep that slipstream up. They're definitely motivating each other to put in some good laps on the track here tonight. On to Peter Miles then. That is actually him being lapped there at this point in time. I think. Who is that car to the inside then? Gonna find out in just a hot second. That is actually Mark Pocock unlapping himself. Interesting. We know that Mark did have the incident earlier, so now he's trying to come back, and once again it's getting close between Kenneth Lingholm and Dimitri Statis. Don't think that's gonna be a move right on here. It's once again the same setup. Aston very close. Lifting off. Yeah, no changes here. So John Wilson, then that's your P17. See, kind of takes the second chicane. He's trying to make the most of it. 906 driver here. Got a nice overtake on the car here in the background. That's the Alpine of Eric Langlois, or should I say it was, because that still looks quite bruised. I'm sure he might put in a pit stop at the halfway point to get that damage repaired. P19 then, it's your number 30 Porsche. That's Manuel Sosa from Portugal. Stefan Buckley is the eSenior in the number 74. That's another Alpine. I thought it was just one Alpine, but it's actually three. I'm positively surprised here. Wonderful to see a little bit of variety. And Nikos, you got it just right. It's such a big difference when you're comparing these different cars to each other in terms of their size. Absolutely massive car, the Camaro, in comparison to this little squeaky Alpine. That is. And P21 currently belongs to the hands of Mark Pocock. So a close fight on our hands here. Pollitt against Strawbridge. We've had them fighting earlier. Looks like Terry got himself straightened it up. He got a little posture check there. Well, what a line once again, and Benchai also tending to the runoff. Seems to be the way to go here tonight. Just not quite acknowledging that second chicane. But yeah, I think he's put his head back together. He's found the pace, and he's looking like he is in contention for the 6th position. Shane Pollitt will try to stop him, but I don't know if he might make a mistake here now that he isn't chasing, but actually is being the one chased. Go Mark. Mark is bringing it back together. Mark is making the most of it. And really this Ascari section seems to kind of pull these cars apart a little bit. I feel like it feels like these cars don't seem to like driving behind each other all too much. Perhaps it's with a visibility that you really want to hit the right line, that you don't want to miss out. And that means if you leave a little bit more space, you can get a better run. But obviously that kind of aborts the overtaking move. Let's have a look when they come across the line. On the last lap here, fight for P6. And we see it. Shane Pollitt is losing. The only sector that is quicker in seems to be the first. So it needs a little overview. Some new graphics for you. And we see it in the background here. Hutchin, Malcolm Hutchin, might come under fire from Michel. He's also gaining. Checking back in with the fight here. 4p4. It's back and forth. Certainly this first and second sector going to the ends of Dimitri Statis, the Sim Racing Montreal driver, is gaining. But then comes the detrimental third. And once this third sector arrives with the Ascari, it doesn't seem like the car is perfectly set up for that. So he's taking it smooth and slow. He's waiting for that mistake. We're approaching the halfway mark at the same point, and it looks like there are two position changes here. Sauvage and Langlois also. Back and forth. Let's go back 30 seconds here and have a look what happened. So this is on board with Sauvage, the number 22 Porsche driver here. In 6th gear now, down the gears. He was very late on the brakes there. Second, and that is the reason he definitely pushed it over the limit there. Tending to the off track a little bit and conceding 2 positions in the process. In the meantime, let's jump back further out of the replay, and right on here, we've just barely missed how Malcolm Hutchin lost the 8th place to Ben Shire. He's got the move done, and by the looks of it, it was in his specialty corner as well. That last section, he can definitely spot the braking point just dead on, and that's gotten him in the position. In the background, Mike Maleski against Kai Schäfer as well to the inside, and what a late braking there. Can he stop the BMW? Absolutely not, as he hits the chicane. Wow. Oh, he made the car fly. He had a little bit of a takeoff. A little bit of a takeoff there for Mike Maleski. He made it stop in time though, at least after the turn. That lost him his chance of attacking. He had too much slipstream, too much excess speed. And now with Malcolm Hutchin also running onto the grass there, into the kitty litter he goes. That slows him down. That's going to open up that gap in between him and Ben Shire, who now drives off into the sunset with his newly earned P8. Chasing around the track, it looks like the delta in pace between Dont as well as Dimitri Statis. Now that Dont's tires are starting to give in a little bit. That's one of the bigger weaknesses of the Camaro. About at the halfway point, you start to already feel a little bit of tire degradation, where in a lot of the other GT4s, you have much more time until that seems to happen. The light cars, such as the Alpine, the Aston, and the Porsche as well, they usually have a better time in the second half of the stint, where the front engine cars seem to be better on a one-lap performance, as well as just pushing out during the first half of the stint. And usually the balance of performance, the power changes a little bit, especially when you start overcooking your tires a little bit, pushing too aggressively. And this very much could be the case here. Last lap for Kenneth Lingholm in his AMG number 96 was a 2:04, which is about a 10th quicker than Eric Dont in the 963 ahead of him. And Dimitri Statis, however, is 2/10ths quicker than Kenneth. So that means all of these 3 cars are coming closer and closer together. If we're heading to the helicam here, we can see that definitely in range of each other. Then any sort of mistake, he goes a bit wide there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's going to cost him 2/3/10ths. Now Status is there. Now Status can set up an attack here. 4/10ths in between the two. We're going to the rear wing here. And Status already got the move done on Pollard. And he's already got a little bit more racing action, racing experience in this race, as he's massively closing the gap there on the brakes. A little bit sideways, then as he barely catches it in time. A little too aggressive after the slipstream there. Gonna widen up the gap again, so Kenneth Lingholm moving his eyes off the rearview mirror and is starting to look ahead a little bit. Where is John? Don't see one. Correct me if I'm wrong here. We did see how you see it on the left side. It's a little bit of an unusual placement for the eSeniors logo to the inside. Then Kenneth Lingholm, can you make it? He makes it stop. They're still side by side, bit of contact there. Robin is racing back and forth in between these two. He looks to have a good run here. He'll be on the outside for the second chicane. This is very much still on. Kenneth Lingholm now against Eric Dont. He's got the nose ahead. He's got the gearing just figured out now. On the braking, he's still going to have the Camaro right on behind him. But behind him doesn't mean beside him. And that means Kenneth gets the position and moves up into P3. Now Eric Dont, he tried everything he could. He didn't quite get the run out of T1 after being side by side. But he's still so close. Any sort of mistake here would be disastrous. Now this is where we separate the men from the mice. This is the run into Ascari. Don't think we're going to go too abreast. But we're still very much in this dirty air, very much following each other closely. Hardly anything you can see throughout this entire section when you're as close as these three pilots. Big jump there over the curve for Kenneth Lingholm. Let's go to the rear wing. Looks like he's doing it right, and we can see it here. That's the side-by-side. Dimitri Statis got the run on Eric Dont, who might lose the second position in just one lap here. On the brakes, and what a move! Around the outside he goes for the longest part. Dimitri Statis, however, did overjudge his braking capabilities in that sim racing Aston. Oh, yeah, I think 2 retirements so far. We've seen 2 retirements so far. You might have to play back the stream to find out who it was, but if they aren't in here anymore, and they were, that means they definitely must have left the session, unfortunately. On here just briefly, as the battle for P11, Neil Bywater against Malcolm Hutchin, before we're tuning back in for the fight for P3 here. These two have been inching together closer and closer. This is the Exiled Goons right against number 38 of Neil Bywater then, and look at that excess speed. He's tuning to the inside. Can he find the braking point? Heavy on the brakes, and he's very late there. Can he make it stop in time? No, he cannot. So Neil Bywater successfully defending in a different way than you might imagine, by just forcing his opponent to outbrake himself. So Malcolm Hutchin dropping back, no change here, and Mark Pocock, who started, who was in 21st not long ago, is now back in P18. We're seeing 2 more retirements from the race here. Lang Loy as well as Stefan Buckley now back in the pit lane earlier than we might have expected. So this is where the action is. This is what they're brewing, what they're cooking in the kitchen. And they seem to have found some hot sauce. Eric Dont is in the middle. Dimitri Statis is the third in the pack, and Kenneth Lingholm is leading them. This is the 3-way fight for P3. This is 34 points. Yeah, 34 points it is for the championship if you bring that home. And look how much time he's just gained on the braking there. Eric Dont in his horse racing Camaro. He's struggling a little bit, jumping to the rear wing. Let's have a look. Dimitri Statis seems to still be gaining just a little bit into that 6th gear. And watch as the engine pulls away despite the slipstream. He keeps on gaining, now heavy on the brakes, and just a hot moment. Look at that. He's just nursing it through there. That front engine definitely showing that it's got some big weight, but also some even bigger engine power. Would you look at that. Eric Dont trying to make it work, but it isn't all that easy. So while these two are preparing a little bit, waiting for a mistake from each other, we're going to use this opportunity once again. We're just past the halfway mark. Time is passing by quite quickly. Have a look at the left-hand side. Am I the only one who has a bingo here? It's the Porsche bingo. How many is that in a row? 7? It's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 Porsches in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that before, to be frank with you now. That's wonderful. That just tells you that the Porsche is a very balanced car that seems to do well decently around Monza. The only driver who's showing us its best seems to be Derek Bird up at the front in second. And otherwise it's yeah. Quite interesting. So Kenneth, Danish driver in the 96, is pulling away now. 1.8 seconds is the gap to the Belgian Eric Dont, who's following him closely. Pace seems to settle around the 2 minutes, right on the dot. If you want to be competing there up at the front, that's the sort of speed you need to lap around here. And your leader, oh, this is still very close here between starters and Dont now. This fight for P4 at center of screen for you. You see on the left hand side, gaps are definitely starting to widen just a little bit. These two again, just 3-4 tenths late on the brakes there again for the Aston. Look how much he's gaining. Is he even going to make the turn? Yes, he is. Dimitri Start is making the fast in work somehow. Seems like that is something the Aston can do quite neatly. He's going to lose a bit of time on the exit though. So, up in front, the man on a mission. He said leg it, put his legs on the back, and he's making a run for it. Chris Bourne in the 119. He's already 6 seconds ahead of the championship winner, the overall P1. Now the Chevy. Well, is it almost the Chevy? I mean, if Mark Schaefer would drive the Chevy, it's spelled slightly different, but I think we can make it work. I think that's the car that he has to drive for the next season. You heard it here first. Kyle Schaefer is going to be driving the Chevy, the Chevrolet. I think that's just destiny now, isn't it? Well then, so Chris Bourne in P1. Derek Bird is chasing. Looks like he isn't at the pace tonight. Isn't at the pace he needs though tonight. He's been doing fantastic all season. Super consistent podium runner. And by the looks of it, he might have to settle with second. Unless the tires break in for Chris Bourne. He won't be getting that, because if we have a look, in our sector comparison widget here, Chris Bourne actually setting his personal fastest first sector, so he's still very much at the perfect grip that he needs, and he's gaining every sector on Derek Bird. So this will be a tough challenge if he wants to bring on first. Otherwise, I'm sure he'll be happy with visiting me in the broadcast booth later in second. Now third place, we've talked about him a bunch. It's the driver here in the number 96. It's the one and only. It's Kenneth Lingholm, originally from Group 3, but if we give him an AMG, he can make that work. He can make it dance around the circuit just the way it likes. And a beautiful set of liveries here up at the front. Hearing it from the chat as well. Nikos is ecstatic, and it does look very clean. Looks very angry, like a little bit of an Indian touch now, don't you think? Has those glowing sort of red eyes. Got some he's in it for the fight. He's got his warrior paint in his face. I think that's the vibe that I'm getting from it. And it looks like it absolutely worked. So third, seemingly settled. That would be a wonderful finish here for the 96 driver. Fourth place right now, Eric Dont. He's in the HOS Racing Camaro. Or Chevrolet, whichever you prefer. Last lap for him at 2:09. That means he is not gaining on Kenneth, and he's Also pulling away just slightly from Dimitri behind. Dimitri, you say? Dimitri starters, I say. That's your driver with the number 12 here. He's been back and forth during this race. Originally started in P6. Now he's in 5th. Trying to wait for a move. That would be a very nice finish here for starters as well. I mean, if we're having a look around the championship table, he currently is in P13. But he's been doing well the past couple of races. So if you're looking for somebody to pick up in these GT4s, starters seems to be a safe bet. As long as he's attending, he's doing quite well in here. Now, next up, it's your P6 in the background, just coming into the picture there. Shane Pollitt from UK. That Woodstack Alpine is holding on its own. Doing very well considering that its straight line speed isn't its specialty. Oh, somebody... Whoa, I was getting the spooks there. Got him of 462 there of Eric Langlois in the background. Just taking it to the outside. Fastest lap once again. Oh, come on. Oh, he's just putting on a show. Chris Bourne with another fastest lap of the session. The 58.5, he's showing us his quali pace. 40 minutes into his stint. Well, the Terry Trowbridge, that's your P7 from England. Kai Schaefer is chasing. It's the Shepherd's Prayer 314 here. With a very flashy livery. Just for you. Now P9, that's Mike Molesky. It's the first BMW on the grid, but you see it in the background there, just again spotting the braking point. That's Michael Benchaya, that's your top 10. 10th position then for the Canadian, who's also partly organizing this event for you. So give him some shout outs in the chat, cheer him on, see what Michael can do. Malcolm Hutchin, he's competing. 2.5 seconds is the distance that he needs to cover if he wants to get into those top 10s. Into those top 10. Number 217 driver here is leading this big train of Porsches. GT4 Porsche, definitely one of my favorites out of the bunch. So I'm not surprised to see as many on track side here today as we are. Neil Bywater, that's the number 38 driver here. Last lap of 2 minutes, 0.516 here. Just ahead of Daniel Britos, who's now going through that Curva Grande and the DB Racing Team number 14. He's got some... He's basically representing Argentina here, I feel like, with the color scheme that he's chosen. Do like that, especially from the front. It does look like it quite a lot. Jeremy Arobas, he started in 12th, was 15th at some point, gaining back another position here in the number 88. He's doing quite well for himself, but he'll have to cover another 4.5 seconds of time if he wants to get another position here tonight. Peter Miles, he has been spotted off track here and there. He's put it back together. Last lap for him a 2:03.9. And by the looks of it, he can definitely go the distance. I have to check in, however, though. Side by side up at the front, Dimitri Status against Eric Dond. This could be the one. Going to the helicam here to have a look whose brakes later very deep then for the Aston. As they're now heading into T1, he takes the wider line. That didn't work too well for the Camaro last time around. Once again on the curbing. I think he gets good traction here, but they're still going to be side by side. And now the Aston is going to have the inside once they're crossing past this first part on the chicane. Because while you think, oh, he's on the outside now, as long as they're still side by side, he's going to have a slightly better run into the Lesmos as well. Now, in the braking zone, oh, so deep then on the brakes. Dimitri Status moves past, shoves Eric Dond just out of the way on the braking zone. He made it work. He got it just right. And there was nothing he can do to defend that. Well done, well executed. So Dimitri Status takes the position, and we're going to stay where this. But just a little bit, because this could very much stare go back and forth here. We're seeing it. Dimitri is having that Camaro getting a good run here. He might have a little bit of slipstream from the car ahead. That's the number 30. That's Manuel Sosa in P17. And very deep then. He's going to lose his traction there. Oh, disaster spelled for Dimitri then. The Canadian drops back after fighting so hard for that position. Now he actually has to deal with Shane Pollard. Shane Pollard then, we're going on board. That is the Alpine in the background. That's the Woodstack number 66. That's a good opportunity for Shane here from the UK on the brakes, making sure that the car has already ripped up all the way. And now instead of Dimitri attacking, he'll have to tend to defense, because I'm sure Shane has been picturing exactly this scenario for the past 15-20 minutes, where he's been chasing here, trying to catch up to this group now, heavy on the brakes. Let's see what he can do through here. Up and around, he's just preparing for the exit, taking it a little bit slow throughout the chicane itself, but that sets him up neatly for a run out of here. And Carlo is in the chat as well. Chris Bourne is only using one leg due to an injury. Yeah, it absolutely. I mean, he's running away with it. Chris Bourne is absolutely on a flyer. It's a great car for the track, but regardless, if he's just driving with one leg, that means he can't be doing that little neat transition in between the gas and the brakes. That's very impressive. Thank you for the info, Carlo, because I thought that that leg being referenced in the team name, that was just in a different context, in a different meaning. But if he's just doing that with one leg, that's even more baffling, to be fair. Wow. So big kudos then to Chris Bourne, making it work, pushing through. I mean, look at the pace here, 58.8. He's almost a second quicker than anyone else on the track. It's absolutely insane. So we'll just keep on watching here for a brief moment. Otherwise, oh, it must have been an incident for Schaefer. Yeah, he lost almost 15 seconds on the last lap. Kai Schaefer, just a quick look. Is the car damaged? Is Schaefer doing fine? It doesn't look damaged to me. But that has cost him 3-4 positions. If I'm having a look, he was just in 10th a little bit ago, and keep in mind that he started in 3rd, so not the race that he was looking for at all. Now back up at the front here, Shane Pollard is trying his luck into T1 here. He's inching closer and closer. This time a little bit of better run throughout T1 here. This could be an opportunity here against Dimitri, because he is very much in the slipstream now if he wants to use it. So this three-way fight up at the front, still very much undecided. And look how close that got. That was a little too hot there, Shane. Little too much entry speed. That correction is going to cost him 5/10, and that opens up the gap. And we did see a little bit of a position change here between Hutchin and Bywater. So we're going to go back 30 seconds here. Oh, that's just him, I think. Yeah, that's just Bywater going straight in T1. That's the reason why there was briefly a position change there. So Bywater missing that T1 and coming back onto the track unscathed. It's just going to cost him a little bit of time. Some very kind words from you guys in the chat. Very much appreciated hearing that you guys are enjoying yourselves, because this race is fantastic, and if I can bring you that action just a little bit closer, that is just what I want. Dave drove an automatic for the first time in years today. Tried to left foot brake and that gave me and your wife a whiplash. Oh no. Yeah, trying to apply a little bit of that racing technique in real life. I always find myself, and my friends can vouch for that as well. It's in for example roundabout. You know, usually you're tending to go quite a wide route. You're tending to make things very, very safe, take it slow, and then to me, oh, Dimitri, oh, he thought about it. Oh, he might get him on the exit here. He might get him now, side by side. Eric Don't, Dimitri start as he's on the outside for the first Lesmo onto the braking zone. Here, can he make it stick? There's no grip there. Dimitri pulls back out. He had him on the exit because Don't, he sent it absolutely over that curb. The tires at the front must have been in absolute shock as he's giving them a quick whiplash. With the way he drove over the curbing there, that must have cost him a bit of PSI, I do imagine. So back on to what I was saying here. You know, in a usual roundabout, you're kind of slowly going to the outside. And to me, it's really just, for example, if we're going onto the second exit, so kind of straight, then to me the challenge is to drive as straight as possible. So you're gonna see me at the middle of the track, coming into the roundabout, and then just barely grazing around the middle island, then, and trying to just carry as much speed as I can, and it's kind of funny seeing that. And also, if I just take the first or the second exit, is especially shocking for people who drive in a road car with me for the first time. And I'm gonna be like on the first exit, I'm gonna be all the way on the inside and then just yeeting it on the exit, just kind of like doing 70 kilometers or something on the exit, where otherwise he'd just be a boy obeying road laws. But that isn't happening. You heard it here first. Are the custom liveries loaded in for this race? That is a good question. I do think I got the Google Drive in, but if there is a problem, you just let me know after the race, and I try to tend to it at the start of the next season then. Oh, once again, Dimitri. Second chicane. He was here the last time around, a bit earlier on the brakes now. He's trying to make more of his exit run, but he does touch the curbing there too. And Luan Antonio was also very good, although a rookie. Give him some screen time then. Juan Antonio. Don't think I can find Antonio here. Unless I'm being a bit blind, being a bit one-eyed here tonight. Do let me know if I am, Nikos. Happy to check again. So, we've already had some great racing action here tonight. Most of the action definitely involving Dimitri's starters and then some. We've had a great overtake, some great moments with Michel as well, and that BMW. Make sure you watch back the stream if you missed that. It was a fantastic race start. Lots of fun there. Oh, a bit sideways. So what I want to know, who is your driver of the day tonight? Let me know in the chat. Would be great to check that together with you. Oh, this is trouble. This is trouble for Dimitri. They're side by side now. Shane Pollitt now on the brakes a bit earlier, and he gets onto the grass. That's gonna stop him from slowing down a smudge. And they're very close now, heading out of T1, and a better run for Dimitris. So crisis is avoided. But for how long? Starters, we see it here. Last lap at 201.6. Oh, as they're both missing the apex, he tried to follow him through there. Shane was absolutely relying on Dimitri there. He didn't quite get the braking point. He just barely realized in time. So these two probably collecting another warning here and there. They're going to the limit. They're doing this just for you. It's the finale. It's 6 minutes remaining. And if I see this correctly, then starters in the championship, that could set him up for a 3-digit point count in the championship. He could be jumping a couple of places here. Definitely not Chris Bourne. Chris Bourne will settle in with a sweet 40 points. That could get him into the top 10 by my calculations. Derek Bird obviously has won already. And Lincoln, if we're having a look on the championship table there, just trying to find him. He's not even up at the front right now. So Lincoln, if I see this correctly, is not on the table there. Is there a number 96 AMG on this table? Don't think there is. So that would be some very good points as a sort of debut then for Lincoln, making his way into the GT4 scene, and this is still so close. 55 minutes of racing are already behind these three. As Shane tends to the kitty litter a little bit, that's going to cost him some time. And these are still fighting neck to neck. That Juan. Right. Yeah, I get it now. So I thought that Juan was a rookie on track, but it's a rookie in the commentary room. Yeah, Juan. You were very nice to him in the chat. I did appreciate that. He came back to me and said that you guys were lovely. That was fantastic. That was some great feedback, and it seems that you liked his company too. You might see him again sometime. It's very helpful getting that Sunday covered, because I could not make it. I was out of town last week on Sunday. But I'm sure that Juan will keep on going, keep on working on it. He's originally a Spanish caster, a Spanish broadcaster, if you didn't know that. So doing these sort of broadcasts in English, it's a very different challenge for him. So it's close. Before the end, these three still haven't decided who's going to finish in 4th, who's 5th, and who will take on that P6. So this is still very much on. And Lingholm's first race in GT3 was just the other week. Thank you very much for covering that. It's a little bit of deep insights here from the chat. Lots of new faces coming in and showing their worth. Showing us how it's done. Some fantastic racing here. And some great pace all around. It was literally the first weakness. I was following Chris Bourne's time all the way through the stint. It's 58. After 58, after 58, he was running away with it. And only now, he's gonna hate me for this. Chris, it was a 59.0. The alien at the front has a weakness. We've spotted it. You've heard it here first. But oh boy, what a pace he's been going all stint. I do want to look at some other drivers as well, but that might have to wait until after the race, because this is still very tense in between these three. Kenneth Lingholm, driver of the day for Carlo. Yeah, agreed. I think he's been doing great. He is absolutely pacing away. After getting past, he hasn't shown any signs of weakness. He got passed on about 30-20 minutes ago, right around there. He's been, yeah, he said right, steady as a rock. He's been steady as a rock, rocking this race as well as Dimitri. Wow, sends that acid flying. That was a lot of curving and then some. It's like riding over a little hill with that. Not sure if you want to do that to your suspension all too often. And you see it there, that's the result of it. That's Sean Pollard pulling over into the wind sim. He was looking there, he faked it. And that sends him out wide. This could have been the move. Shane Pollard, oh, with a mind game. Then he went just briefly to the inside. We have to look at this again. We have to look at this again. But first, let's see how this pans out. Because Shane, in that Woodstock 66, he's ahead. And if he can keep this until T1, we're gonna go back. At the looks of it, he were. Because that was just fantastic. We're gonna go back 60 seconds here. Get that onboard from Shane. Because that was fantastic. I hope I didn't go back in the replay too early. I really do. Because that was fantastic. So he gets a good run out of here. Not the best, but still he's winning the slipstream. He's well closing in that gap. So Shane is now thinking, how do I get him? Do I flash? Do I turn to the inside? Do I do something stupid? No, I just pull over here, think I'm going for a move. But then I'm actually stopping the car just in time as we're seeing Dimitri go wide then. Just what he was needing. Just what he was looking for. Beautiful move. Shane Pollitt showing the racecraft. Oh, come on. I was going on about how well you were doing, Shane. You can't do that to me. Shane, don't you get a drive-through on the final lap of the race? Oh, that is so rough. That is so rough. Well, he got the move. He got P5. In my eyes, he's P5. If you want to ask me. Oh, he brought so much glory to the Alpine here tonight in the GT4s. And you see it there. Dimitris, he isn't phased by it anymore. He knows he's got that P5. Yeah, that's a drive-through. That is a drive-through. And that's absolute disaster for Shane Pollitt then. Oh, such a rough finish. For such a good race. Let's see if he actually serves it, or if he's just going to go for the 30 seconds. I'm sure he's going to fall back to P7 or 8 with this in the end. Oh, very unfortunate then. Malcolm Hutchin. And then one of the closer fights still out on track. We've been watching the Exile Loons try to lure in Michael Benchaya. He's been on and off when it comes to the pace. He's been doing 2-minute flats, but he's also been doing 202s. Since back and forth in between these two. But we cannot miss. Give a little bit of screen time to the one-legged legate. The legend. Chris Bourne. It's number 119. He has been an absolute machine this entire evening. Chris Bourne, there you go. He's going to take the checkered flag, and well-deserved so. Started from pole, brought it home, no troubles, no issues, just raw pace. Just all of what you could ask for. Chris Bourne now taking that checkered flag. There it is on the right. He wins it. He takes home the finale. Turns on the wipers a little bit for us. Wonderful to see it there. So he's won that race. Chris Bourne then P1. It's P2 for Derek Bird. He finished 11 seconds behind him. He did his all, but the pace wasn't 100% there. Still, he's so far ahead of Kenneth. He's doing a wonderful job. And I have to compliment him. Derek Bird, he won the championship. He is the winner of the championship. He's settling for second tonight. That just shows you with the consistency all the way through the season. You don't always have to win. You just have to be there. You have to give it your all, and that's what he did tonight. And here comes our presumed winner of the Hearts. It's Kenneth Lingholm in his debut race, going onto the podium. What a race for Kenneth in that Lingholm 96 AMG. Definitely a big mark left there, and we are very excited to see what he can do for the rest of this season and the next one. Before it's Eric Dond, he just held on. Wonderful drive there. It was back and forth for him, but he had through the Belgian driver, finishing in fourth. Wonderful stuff. Dimitri Starters then, that's P5 Sim Racing Montreal driver with the number 12. So much action. Dimitri has been all around the globe here, and he finishes in Monza with a 5th place. He can be quite happy with that. Now P6, presumably, but actually I think it's more going to be like a P10, more or less. Sean Pollitt's got the drive-through in the end. Must have cut somewhere, we didn't quite see when, but that is gonna be it. Terry Trowbridge, he's already stopped his Aston. That's the number 97, then finishing 6th. Mike Molesky should be P8 here. Then Malcolm Hutchin should be P9. Neil Bywater came home in 10th. It's Kai Schaefer in P11. There you go. It's P12 for Daniel Britos. Then P13 for Jeremy Arobas. It's Peter Miles in P14. P15, can he get across the line? I'm assuming he will, unless he ran out of fuel. Can somebody... I think he's being towed. Can we... Is that... No, that's not another car. Can we get some... Hello, guys? Anybody watching? Can we get some help for Savage here? Just push him across the line, will you? He wants to get over in P15. We can't just leave him out on track here. Oh, come on. Kenneth isn't seeing him. He thinks... Can we get some help here for Savage? No, he resets! Well, I don't know what that means for his finishing position, but I think he brought a little under the fuel he needed. Wasn't quite paying attention to that. Well, Benchaya is just after him. He didn't have the race he was looking for, but it's still great to see him here in the end of the session. Manuel Sosa, P17. Eric Langlois had some damage earlier, still in the session, and John Wilson with P19. Well, tomorrow you lads will have the pleasure of working with Mark. We'll see each other on Sunday again. Thanks so much for sticking around in the chat. Congrats again to Chris. We're going to go to the interview booth and see if some of the drivers want to join us. We have a post-race interview here. So Kenneth Lingholm, Derek Bird, Chris Bourne, if you are hearing this, and I'm patiently waiting for you to make an appearance in the green room. You know that Chris Bourne is in the Discord. And Derek with the title, he's already won it last time because he's so far away in terms of the championship. He'll be finishing with a total of 413 points. And it was only one race that he attended and didn't get a podium finish. That was at Mount Panorama, but otherwise he's been super consistent, super well driven. And it's great to see that you guys are enjoying this, what we've put together for you. And a big shout out, my first one of the bunch, there's probably gonna be some more, to Jeremy and Michelle for bringing you this, because otherwise I wouldn't be here at all. So I don't think we're gonna see an interview. Maybe that's because the GT4 lads don't really know that yet. Perhaps for the next season they're all gonna be super aware of that, just like the Group 1 to have an interview. And I know that you guys are out there still watching. Maybe you are watching a playback of the stream right now. And if you're hearing this and you still haven't smashed that like button, then now would be the perfect time to do so. So this has been the start of the end, really. It's the first race in the last week of the championship. It's been the GT4s here, brought to you by SimSport Solutions of the eSeniors. My name is Niklas Kraus, and I hope you have enjoyed this broadcast. Once again, all of this week it's going to be the finals. We're going to see champions being crowned, fights being put out, and lots of fuel being burned. I hope to see you again for the next broadcast. I'll be here again on Sunday. Until then, have a wonderful rest of the evening and see you guys around. Bye bye.